Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives you?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gold Jacket, Green Jacket podcast. We're here for a bonus episode, Joel. It's an open recap.
British Open.
Joel Mitchell joins me, mate. How you doing?
Very good. And you?
Very good, mate. And we're getting stuck straight into it, mate, because we don't want to go overs on this one.
No, this one's just a quick little checkup of how we viewed the tournament, much like the US Open, the PGA, and the Masters.
And I might be repeating myself because I think I've said this 3 times already this year, but what a fucking tournament.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's the thing about the majors. The majors that's why they're majors. They have the prestige. They have the sheer grit of those players. They're hard. Like the only major that hasn't reached double digits or under par was the PGA, and well, they went more than double digits on.
Yeah,
they went scuba, but everything else was hard.
That was only because they had favourable conditions,
Well,
but
actually,
even still.
sorry, I lied about that. Scheffler had 10 at the Masters, but anyway.
But each major this year I feel has been a lot better than they were last year. Right?
Is that because you tuned into them more?
No, maybe a little bit, and this is a great reason for it.
That's my reason. I feel like the majors this year have been unbelievable. It's purely because I paid attention to them more for this reason.
Yeah, no, I
I've
get it.
tuned into them in higher respect.
No, I can back that. I'm the same in that sense.
Yeah.
But mate, honestly, I think this rendition of the Open was by far and away the best major of the year.
It was phenomenal.
Absolutely, you said it. Phenomenal event. I think we had easy half a dozen lead changes on the final day.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was like Schauffele was always thereabouts.
Yeah, and we'll get into the results.
snapping on
We'll
their
get into the
heels,
results very shortly.
But for him to do what he did on that final day, man, fuck.
Now,
Did you see his eyes? Did you see his face over on that back nine when he held that putt on 13, 14? Did you see his eyes? Oh, no one's beaten. No one's beaten that. No one's winning.
so if you've been living under a rock for the last 48 hours or so, we're recording this on Tuesday. It's going to go out as soon as we possibly can get it out to you.
Yeah.
Xander Schauffele came away with the win after being, I think, 3 shots off the pace at the beginning of the round, if not more.
At the beginning
of the final round.
he was only one back.
One back, was he? Okay.
He was at 3 and Horschel was at 4.
Okay, there
So
you
he
go.
was one back, but at one stage, I'm pretty sure he was
2 or 3 back.
2 or 3 back.
Because Tristan
At one
Lawrence
stage. Yeah, Tristan Lawrence went bang.
went bunter.
Yeah, went
Right?
early.
And went early. And he had a great tournament. We'll get into the who did what's and whatever.
Yeah.
But back onto Xander Schauffele. It's his second major of the year as well. It's also the first time that all 4 majors have been won by Americans since 1982, which was a pretty cool stat I saw on the coverage. So Scotty won in a calendar year. It's the first time that all 4 majors have been won by Americans since 1982.
Really?
Yes. They literally had it on a banner on the coverage.
There was another, unless I misheard it, there was another, someone else said it's the first major, it's if an American won the British Open this week, which they did, it was Xander, that it's the first time since Shane Lowry in 2019 that, Shane Lowry is the last non-American to win a major.
No.
Cam
Smith is the last
exactly.
American.
Which was,
they're probably also not paying any attention to Liv in that statement.
Yeah, that must have been. It must have been PGA Tour
because
players.
Larry was 19, Smith was 20, Morikawa was 21.
21. He's US though.
He's US.
Yeah.
And then who was 22?
In terms of British Open.
Yeah.
22 off the top of my head. I can't even think.
It was Brian Harman last year, 23.
Brian Harman was last year.
And then,
oh my God,
hang on, have I got my years mixed up?
No, I'm sure you're right. Who was
I got
22?
my years mixed up?
Who was 22? Brian Harman was last year. Who was champion golf for 2022?
Hang on. List of open championships.
I must have heard it wrong then.
You must have, because this has thrown me.
Because for some reason they said Shane Lowry was the last.
Aspetta. So we had Molinari in 18, Shane Lowry in 19. No one won it in 2020 because of COVID.
Yeah.
That's why Shane Lowry held it. Was the only person to ever hold it for 2 years. That's the stat. Morikawa.
Oh, that must have been it then.
Morikawa in 21, Smith in 22. I got it mixed up.
Yeah, you've got it
Harman
backwards.
and then Schauffele. But anyway, let's get back on track.
Yeah.
Because Xander Schauffele had a bogey-free 65 on the final day, and like you said, was so zoned in and so laser focused.
Yeah.
You're right. There was no one who was ever going to come in his way and stop him from winning that title.
Yeah.
It's some of the best golf I've seen him play, but
Yeah.
also some of the best golf I've seen
This year.
anyone play.
This year. How much of it did you watch?
I had to go back and watch it replayed because the time zone didn't
Still, though,
suit
like,
my
you
work
watched-
schedule.
Yeah.
But I've seen everything.
Yeah, okay, same
Of
here.
the final round, I saw a good chunk of every other day as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And mate, unbelievable.
How I was so impressed by those top guys. Everyone inside sort of everyone that was under par on that day, pretty much. Everyone inside that top 6 sort of range. Like you had Horschel, you had Schauffele, you had Justin Rose, even Tristan Lawrence had a great run at it. Like
Justin
all of
Rose,
them-
Billy Horschel came out of nowhere, played unbelievably in the last couple of rounds.
Well, he
right?
was. Yeah, his first 2 rounds, it's sort of like, okay, he's not really that name that's going to scare the leaders because Lowry was on at 7. He had an unfortunate 3rd round, which really put
We're
him
gonna get stuck into that
him
because
behind the
I want to
8
talk a little bit about the golf course as well.
All right, well, let's get into this first. Do you want to talk about the golf course now or after?
Or we can keep going about some scores.
I was
if
going
you
to say,
want.
we're on that track anyway. And
Yeah,
you're looking
absolutely.
at the leaderboard now anyway.
I am looking at the leaderboard.
Like Lowry was looking like he was just going to sort of run with it for the whole week, didn't he? And then he had that unfortunate 3rd round, had that 6 over, which was bound to happen because everyone had one. Everyone had a hiccup throughout that. Even Schauffele did. Like the first couple of rounds, he was really trying to fucking somehow keep that under par. He was over par at one stage. And then, he fired up in those last 2 rounds, and especially that final round. That was unbelievable. But even Horschel birdied the last 3 to have a tie for 2nd, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yep.
Justin Rose shot 4 under in that final round, which was fantastic. And Schauffele won by, what was it, 2? Having 6?
2.
He won by 2?
2.
It was just, it's like, fuck, that's a major champion. Like,
That's
you know what I mean?
that's a
not
major
someone-
championship performance.
That's a major champion. Like, that's not someone that's just had that final round where it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? It's like, no, he's won a PGA. He's been snapping on the heels of pretty much every fucking tour event this year. And Scheffler's sort of just run away with it a little bit in terms of wins. But it's his 2nd major of the year. He's had countless top 10s and he deserves it. It was a major championship performance. That's all I can really.
100%. I completely agree with you. Couple of notable mentions. Obviously, Billy Horschel, we mentioned.
Fantastic.
Tristan Lawrence played really well. Russell Henley came in
Yep.
at a tie.
Yep.
Solo 5th.
Yeah.
And then you scroll down. Scotty Scheffler was tied for 7th.
Yeah.
Adam Scott shot even. Jason Day was 1 over for the tournament.
Great tournament for Scotty.
Unbelievable. He was my pick.
He sort of got. He was too.
Yeah.
Schauffele was one of your picks. Schauffele was your prediction, wasn't he?
No, I predicted Colin Morikawa.
That's true. That's true.
And he didn't do so well.
My prediction
hang
was
on.
absolutely way off.
Who'd you pick?
Well,
You picked Raws.
I predicted Rory, and like I said, I did say on our previous pod, I'm like, if I'm wrong, well, whoops.
Yeah.
He just didn't have those 2 days, and it's unfortunate, but
Morikawa finished tied for 16th.
no, it's fine.
So-
What was it, a couple over, 3 over?
2 for the,
Yeah, there you go.
tournament.
That's like considering that golf course.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, look, unbelievable scores. And like you said, the golf course in really good condition, but also one of the most intricate golf courses I think I've ever really come across. I've heard of Troon before. I've definitely played it 1,000 times on PGA, right? Just haven't really taken notice of it. And then Rick Shields did his normal Break 75 video at Troon, like obviously filmed a few weeks before. And I watched that thinking, oh, this will be a nice little easing into the Open Championship. And even watching the coverage, some of the holes, mate, ridiculous. You would never think that would happen on a golf course.
Yeah, well, even my boss Luke, he went over and did a European trip that I've spoke to you about, and we actually mentioned it in a previous pod. But he talked to me about that golf course, and he said that some of those holes, like 10 and 11, for example, he goes, they're playing 60, 70 yards back from where Luke and his mates played it.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's unfathomable how those guys actually hit it on the fucking planet and even actually hit the fairway.
Well, there were so many instances where, like, on par 4s and par 5s, guys are teeing off with iron and just making the fairway.
Yeah. Into the wind,
Into the wind. And I was like, holy
Did
crap.
you see, I think it might have been hole 7 I'm pretty sure back-to-back days. I think it was round 2 and round 3. The difference in driving distance.
No, I didn't.
How it had like Justin Thomas hit it 404 yards round 2 and hit it 279 yards round 3 because it was a complete wind flip.
Yeah, right.
And like and same some of the big names. DJ hit it like 408 yards in I think it was round 2. I don't know if it was that back to back or it could have been round 1 and 2. I'm not sure. Whichever days the wind flipped. And yeah, round 2 hits it 284 yards. Like into the just 130 yard difference just because of the wind.
Yeah, no.
And that's the sort of thing that this place did. And
no thanks.
man, it's just brutal. And I did notice something about the golf course. I pay a close attention to what yardage each hole is.
Okay.
And then I played into my mind what sort of shot I'd hit off the tee and what sort of yardage I'd have in.
Okay.
What shots am I hitting in? What irons am I hitting in? And at Pinehurst, I'm thinking I'm going to drive a fucking 3-wood into these par 4s. That's what I sort of thought because there's 500-yard par 4s, which are a gettable par 5 for us generally on normal standard par on golf courses. And I only noticed there was 2 par 4s over 490 there, which is still a long way. It's 450 meters, 440 meters. But usually you find that these like major golf courses are set up a lot longer.
Yep.
And I noticed there was a lot that were under 420 yards, which for these guys isn't long on paper. But the elements and the hitting zones and these bunkerings and the pressure, really, and the visual effect of these golf courses is what made it so hard. Like 384 yard par 4s for these guys, and then some of them making 7s. Some of them are hitting 6-iron off the tee just to keep the fucking thing out of bushes and long stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's so difficult. It's 384, 350 meters, 340 meters. Some of them, if they absolutely nuke one, can get to the front edge of those sort of holes. But they're hitting 6-iron, 8-iron into it just to keep the fucking thing in play and out of bunkers. It's just... That's golf. That is
golf. 100%. It's the best way to explain it. It is a completely different way to approach the game, and that is why I look forward to the Open every single year. Right? Talking about the golf course, the intricacies I'd thought of as well. And how often do you see a golf course where you're teeing up on the 11th hole, and then no joke, a living room away, because that's how far it was, a 6-meter like throw away is a train line.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Right? I think I was watching Sam Burns or something, and on the final round, and he's standing over the ball. And here's the train coming, and then backs off. And I'm like, "Fuck, where else?
Is it
where
just
else in
me?
the world?"
Was it just a Mandela effect, or did he wave to it?
Oh, it would have been cool if he did. I don't know. I can't remember if you saw that. But then back that up with the 8th, the postage stamp. Right, 600 yards away from the tee box of the postage stamp is the end of a runway of an airport.
Really?
Did you not notice all the planes were flying really low around the golf course?
I didn't notice that.
There was heaps of them, and you could definitely hear them more than you could see them. But I saw it on Instagram. It's literally 600 yards. So a par 5 away is the end of Prestwick Airport runway.
That's crazy.
The major airport, I think one of the major airports in Scotland, right?
Fuck.
And like,
I didn't know that.
These planes are coming in so low. And there was a couple of times where I'm looking at it going, someone could hit one of these, like 100%. There's absolute guarantee. Like someone's
going to tee it up this high.
Someone's going to call a rules official and goes, "What happens here? Like, how does this work?" Because, mate, I'm like just a completely different golf course, completely different setting, and that's what makes the Open so special.
It's just it's from like you can even see if there's how many players are under par.
I'll tell you this now.
Maybe 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 people under par.
Nine people.
These are the
par.
best golfers on the face of the earth.
9 people under par, 3 people even.
So 12 people even or better in a field of 156.
Yeah.
And obviously 70 after the cut.
Yeah.
But best golfers on the planet. Best golfers on the planet.
Yeah.
And there's 12 of them at even or better. That's got to open some eyes to really how difficult.
Absolutely.
And when people, like I saw a lot of comments of even some big notable names. Like, of course, you know, there's words to say about what the big cat did, and
we're going to get into that.
We've got 5 or so minutes or 10 minutes to really chat about that one.
Yeah.
But there's some big names that had some huge numbers according to the general standard of the PGA Tour. You're seeing these 5 under, 6 unders generally every fucking round of what it seems like, and there's massive numbers according to their standard. Like Rory McIlroy was 14 over.
Yeah,
and people are going, "What the fuck happened?" Well, he broke 80 both times, but
that's the golf course.
to their standard, that's catastrophic. That's huge.
Yeah.
To a standard on paper, but I don't think people actually understand how hard this place would be.
And just going through, I'm starting literally at the bottom of the leaderboard and working my way up. So a couple of notable names. So Heath Thigala missed the cut. Wyndham Clark missed the cut. There's a major champion.
Yep.
At like a US Open champion as well.
US
So
Open winner.
someone who knows how to play in tough conditions
Yeah.
at the US Open.
Absolutely.
Missed the cut. Cameron Smith missed the cut. Rory McIlroy missed the cut. Obviously Tiger missed the cut.
Yeah.
Tony Finau.
Yeah.
Adam Hadwin. These guys know it. Bryson DeChambeau, Ludwig Aberg, Tommy Fleetwood.
Fuck.
Yeah, Francesco
Those are some
Molinari,
names that you think should be contending.
Minwoo Lee. Who else have we got here? Nick Taylor's playing well. Tyrrell Hatton.
Oh,
Louis
man.
Oosthuizen, another Open champion. All these guys. Will Zalatoris, Keegan Bradley, Christian Bezuidenhout. Who else we got?
Yeah. Anyway, like
Fuck, there's so many.
That's got to open eyes to the fact that
So many top 20 players in the world. Top 20.
couldn't fare it around.
Couldn't even get
Well,
close.
you know, if you have your couple of days, you have a couple of days. Like there was
So
a
the
couple
cut
times.
was at 7 over.
That's crazy.
Cut 7 over.
Crazy.
7 over. I remember we were talking about
Wait,
the
was
US
it
Open.
6 or 7?
7.
No.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry,
so the
six,
cut was
six,
6.
six,
Yeah,
six,
yeah.
six, six,
But that's unheard of on the PGA Tour.
Darren,
Unheard of.
Darren Clark made the cut.
I love that. That makes me so warm.
sick.
That makes me so warm inside.
But mate,
It's just crazy. Like
I could
there
sit
was-
here. I could sit here and take like deep breaths and just go, oh, such a great tournament
Yeah.
for hours. I could genuinely do it.
Genuinely is.
Um,
There was a couple of things that I love. This is my favorite thing about some of these events. They do it at the Masters all the time. They do it at every fucking event. They did it at Pinehurst for it. They interview these tour players and say, "What would your average scratch golfer shoot around here?"
I saw this.
And there was a couple guys that said, "Oh, if they had a good day, maybe."
I think Zach
maybe,
Johnson
maybe,
tour.
maybe 82, 85. And I'm thinking there is not anyone that isn't contending on the tour breaking 90 around that joint. Like I was speaking to a couple of guys at the golf club yesterday. Might have been Saturday.
Yeah.
And they're asking me, "Oh, Joel, what would you shoot?" I said, "If I could get around 80, that's my
Christmas.
50, that's my 59."
Yeah.
Like just based off how these guys play that golf course, and if you get into any sort of trouble, just if you can make your bogey and move on, fucking Christmas, and it's for good reason too. And I said to a lot of them, like there's guys playing off 3 or 4, going, "Oh, I'd love to play it." I said, "You're not breaking 100." I said, "You sometimes don't break 80 around our Rosanna golf course that's rated 127 on the slope. Imagine something that's rated fucking 170 or whatever the fucking slope rating of the joint is for that day."
I'm Googling it.
He loves his Google. But something of such a high and intense rated golf course, they would have a huge number. And there wouldn't be many players that aren't on a professional tour or even better than scratch that would break 90 unless it was off their tour tees anyway. It's just
It doesn't have the
incredibly-
tour tees, but
Yeah.
the slope rating off the Blues, which is their longest at 7,200 yards, is 142 slope rating.
So that's almost-
but that's probably their longest member tee box, which
Yeah.
is probably 2 closer than what the boys were hitting on the weekend.
and then push it back,
And
add
they
some
push-
wind,
yeah.
add some pressure.
When you hear commentators on coverages of golf tournaments go, yeah, they've had to put this tee box in to make this thing like challenging, and it's 30, 40, 50 yards further back than anything ever, even close to the hole. You going, yeah, far out.
Yeah, righto.
And that's the thing. With the long, let me start again. The talk about golf courses in the last 3 or 4 years, especially, and that's brought about the golf ball rollback and all that kind of stuff. All the talk has been, we need to make them longer. Everyone's hitting it longer. Everyone's hitting it straighter. We need to make the golf courses more challenging. And Luke Kwan put it perfectly on his story.
Kwan, yeah.
If you saw his Instagram story during the coverage, he literally said, I think it might have been after Shane had his nightmare on 8
Yep.
in the 3rd round.
Yep.
He goes, been saying it for years. Golf courses don't need to have 240-yard par 3s. Give them 150 yards, even less, and give them that to land
Hit
on.
it on. Yeah. Smaller,
You're
smaller,
gonna see-
smaller landing zones because these guys, like the average tour distance is 297 yards, which is 265. That's a long way. That is a long way for the average golf tour pro to hit it. They hit it a long way, but
best-
put it like that's perfect way to put it. Give him the roof of a car to hit
Give
onto.
them a runway.
Then exactly,
Give 'em a runway.
Give them fuck all to land on, and that's what you saw. There's tiny landing zones at Pinehurst. People getting their fucking face kicked in because you have these tiny landing zones, and if you miss it, you're fucked. And it's these pop bunkers. Oh, another thing about these pop bunkers, they were going. I had a countless members, or even just some family members, even saying, oh, these pop bunkers are so small. How are they so intimidating? And it's like, yes, I get it. They're not in your face. They're probably no bigger than the table. Some of them,
literally,
right? But the size of the bunker isn't the landing zone of the bunker. There's half the fairway flows to the bunker.
Yeah.
So you got to think about, I can't land this 20 meters or
Either side
10
of it.
meters either side of it because it's going to go into it.
Yeah.
So these landing zones all of a sudden come this big, and it's not, the size of the bunker doesn't influence where the ball's going to go. Whereas our normal fairway bunkers on a normal golf course, sometimes the lip goes up, so it sort of feeds away from the trap. These don't.
Mate, there's some fairway bunkers on golf courses in Melbourne where unless you land it like flush in the bunker, you're not getting it in the bunker. It's not rolling in there.
It's because it sometimes flows away from.
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Correct.
You're safe. If you find
But
if your ball bounces on fairway first, it's not going in the fairway bunker.
in some cases,
cases.
In some cases, yeah.
But in almost every case,
Yeah.
at Troon and on any other links golf course that you're playing in the Open Championship at, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
If your ball lands on the fairway on the same planet as the bunker, there's a strong chance it's going.
It's going to roll into it. It
Yeah.
feeds away from it. So the landing zones, once again,
Yeah.
because going into it, they couldn't hit any more than a pitch and wedge out of most of them.
Yeah.
And some played sideways. Some were just stoked to get the thing out.
Matt Fitzpatrick hit his ball sideways out of a bunker into the second cut of rough.
Yeah, just to get it in play.
Just to get it out.
That's fucked.
He hit it 9 yards
That's crazy.
sideways into the
That's
rough.
crazy.
Because if he had to go the other way to the fairway, he's hitting it left-handed.
Yeah.
Didn't have a stance either way. So he's like, oh, I'm going to have to take my medicine here.
Yeah, it's
in
just-
its truest form. And that just keeps going and playing into the fact that, like, all right, yeah, cool. They're hitting 6-iron and just reaching the edge of the fairway. But me as a 6-7 handicap golfer, I'm going, I have to hit driver.
Yeah.
I can't hit 6-iron that far.
Yeah.
Right? So I have to hit driver. And if I'm playing off those tees in those conditions, there is no way I'm getting close to 100. No chance.
It's just because it will
chance. And
slowly
I'm
build on
happy
you.
about it.
It will
I couldn't
slowly
care
build
less.
on you. And
Yeah.
like I'm a +5 marker. I really like to think at the moment, well, when I'm in my decent form, I really think I can compete with the tour players on the Oz Tour at the moment. And yeah, I didn't pass that Q school, so I can't prove that.
No.
But I really feel like my best golf can compete.
Yep.
Like when I say compete, I feel like I can make a couple cuts and
Yeah,
sort of-
100%.
and prove
There's nothing
myself
stopping you.
really. Prove myself really. But around there, man, like
It's a different, it's literally a different ball game.
it's different gravy, dude. And for these guys, like they have to play. Like Xander didn't miss a golf shot in that final round. It's
God,
proven.
no.
He went bogey free. That's arguably one of the best rounds on the tour period this year. And there's been 59s. Do you know what I mean? Like there's been 59s and there's been some scuba numbers, but that final round is almost
65. His 65 on the final day was the equal lowest score of the tournament.
that, and it was bogey free.
And it was bogey free. That's more impressive.
Like
That's more. He could have had he could have had 2 under
that's what I mean.
and been bogey free, and it would have still been an unbelievable
To
round of
not
golf.
make a mistake on that sort of golf course and hold your head and still shoot that low number,
Yeah,
I can't even explain it. But
it's a phenomenal win. He's done very well. We're very, very wrapped with it because
Absolutely.
he's now my favorite to go and back up his gold medal at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Round Le Golf National, which is a golf course he's very familiar with. He played Ryder Cup there a few years ago. I want to get into one thing before we wrap this up.
Yeah.
A bit of Tiger talk.
Okay.
If there's one player who we're going to talk about who missed the cut, it's going to be Tiger.
yeah, and Rory.
No,
But let's go with Tiger.
we're going with Tiger. There was a couple of comments made at the beginning of the week by other, I'm going to say other tour professionals, former tour professionals, let's say, elder tour professionals.
Yep.
One, Colin Montgomery.
This is my favorite thing about this week.
Right? Who came out at the beginning of the week and said a bunch of things, including that, Tiger should give it up.
I think that was just a comment. Yeah.
He's made a couple of comments and it went on a bit of almost a rant to an extent. I've read the transcript and I've seen a bit of the
Yeah,
footage and
yeah.
it's not pleasing.
Was it like was it malice? Like did he really try like the
I think-
intent to say give up, or
If
was
he-
it just a comment
I
saying
can't remember if he said that he was taking a spot away from somebody else, but if he had have, I would have been like, oh, really?
Tiger open up?
Yeah, legit.
Basically.
And basically the whole premise was that, because Tiger is under the age of 60. And the rules are previous champions have until their 60th birthday to get free exemption into the tournament. Tiger's, I think, 49 now, nearly 50. 47, 48, between 48 and 50, right? So he's got a number of years left to play in the Open, right? As per his exemptions.
Let's just say he's got over a decade of Open Championship play.
Yeah, easy.
Whether he's going to compete or make the cut or not, doesn't matter.
As per his, that's his entitlement.
Exactly.
As a previous
He's
champion.
earned that.
And Colin Montgomery basically came out and said that he was not taking a spot from somebody else, but basically that he should give it up, should probably retire.
Yeah.
He's not really going to win. He's barely going to compete.
He basically just said, what's
the point?
What's the point of going there because you're not going to enjoy it? He's only going to probably hurt himself more.
I think as long as Tiger Woods is on a golf course, he's enjoying himself. It doesn't mean he doesn't have to play well or perform well.
Exactly.
I think he's one of those, he just genuinely loves the game.
Yeah. Whether he's in pain or not, he's a fighter.
This is also coming.
He grew up. He grew up and was raised to be not just a golfer and an athlete, to be a soldier.
Correct.
Like he trained with Navy SEAls.
Correct.
Who does that?
And that's kind of beside the point.
Well,
but what I'm getting to is that Tiger's response was legendary.
If for anyone that's seen the clip, I hope you appreciate it as much as
Right.
we do.
If you haven't seen the clip,
Look it up.
Go and look it up. Pause the podcast right now. Go look it up. Come back because I'm about to explain it. You got 2 seconds. Right.
Right, moving on.
Tiger basically was asked this question. Oh, have you heard what Monty said? Yeah, I've heard it. And he goes, well, I'm exempt till I'm 60.
Yeah.
Monty's not. Colin Montgomery never won a major.
Yeah.
And it's tough. I'm here.
Tough shit.
I'm playing. He's not.
I've earned the right. He's earned the right 3 times, mind you. He's won 3 British Opens. And he literally exactly what you said. Monty has not earned that right. So
Correct.
why should he comment on whether I participate or not?
I'm looking at his best results.
Response.
I'm looking at his best results.
Perfect response.
So Monty's results, his best Masters finish was tied for 8th in 98.
Yeah.
PGA was second. Well, not each other major, his best result was second. But here's the thing.
Let's not try and...
He was playing in the generation, right, that Tiger was coming up and beating.
Yeah, but let's not put down Monty's career because he did play in 5 or 6 Ryder Cups. He had an amazing career. One of the greatest European players. Like he's one of the greats, right? He really is.
But
this comment towards the caliber of player that Tiger was,
it's extremely out of line.
It was. He should have said it differently.
Yes.
He could have said it very differently. The way he said it, and it had a bit of malice against it. And when I heard him say it or saw what he said, I'm like, oh. I'm like, come on.
Really? Of all people, if it was another major champion who might have had those exemptions as well as Tiger saying it, you go, okay, maybe he knows what he's talking about.
Maybe it's just from previous experience. This guy had one good week and now he's done fuck all since then. So I'm not going to make an example.
If Tom Watson had to come out and said it, having done it himself, played till he was 60 and all that kind of stuff. If he had come out and said, I think Tiger should really think about this because he's probably thinking about the toll that it's taking on his body.
Yeah.
Right? And if you've seen Tiger's body recently, he's so different to what it was when he was winning those tournaments. And I literally pulled up a photo for you to have a look at.
Yeah.
Tiger was recently spotted
his leg.
Watching Charlie play at the US Junior Amateur, right? And Tiger wasn't wearing his leg sleeve. Now, if you've known Tiger for the last 2 years since that car accident, he's worn his leg sleeve everywhere he goes, or he's wearing pants.
Facts, yeah, facts.
And if you see that photo, go onto Zaya Golf
on
Instagram, and it's on there.
Yeah,
you will see why.
Yeah,
he's been wearing a leg sleeve or pants,
and you see why he's in pain.
Yes,
but
his leg is a shadow. Of what it used to be.
But it's also this well, I don't want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't seen it yet, but the scarring and the damage, the sheer damage it's done, and to even have the sheer willpower to go out and try and compete and walk those sort of golf courses. No wonder you fucking struggled around Augusta. Jesus.
After seeing that photo, now I'm going to ask you a question, and I don't want to. I'm going to ask you the age-old question that we ask all the time. After seeing that photo, can you do it again?
What?
Win? Because that, in my opinion,
I don't
that
know.
takes a couple more years for him to get remotely close.
I feel like being the legacy he had and the career he had, I'm not gonna say he will do it. I hope he can win something.
Yep.
I don't think he ever has a major in him again, ever. I think that ship has sailed because these guys coming up at the moment are just going to be too good and fit and ready to go. And it's a different game than early 2000s now. But I'm really hopeful he could sneak in just one more before he's had enough, because all it takes is 4 good days.
And again, after seeing that photo, how long do you genuinely think he's got? And based on his previous performances and everything else he's going on. He was also, in context, to add a bit of context to this, he was asked why he didn't accept the Ryder Cup captaincy this year. Keegan Bradley was appointed
I
Ryder
actually
Cup.
don't know why he turned it down. I know
So
he did.
basically, he said he got asked in the presser,
Yeah.
and he basically turned around and said, "I'm just too fucking busy."
Yeah,
Right?
He's
He
just
goes,
got a lot.
I've got all this stuff on with the PIF, so
Yeah.
the private investment fund for
Yeah,
Live, trying to
yeah.
work out a deal there.
Yeah.
He's got TGL starting, the golf league starting
Yeah,
up next
yeah,
year.
yeah.
He's trying to compete. He's got Charlie to look after,
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. He's got a
It's
lot
just gonna
on
be a
his
head
plate.
fuck.
Trying to pick a Ryder Cup
Sunday
team.
Red as well.
Sunday Red's a new clothing
new.
brand. He's
Yeah.
trying to boost that in as well.
Yeah.
He's obviously got a heap more of endorsement deals that he's
Yeah.
still got to do.
100%.
He's still Tiger Woods at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? And he just goes, I don't have the time.
just-
He goes, I couldn't do it the justice that it deserves.
Well said. Yeah, I like that. Perfect response. Professional
So,
response.
Professional response. And I kind of like Keegan Bradley.
Yeah.
I'm scared that he's going to pick himself, but that's a whole
I
other
think
topic for a whole
I
other
think
day.
there's 8 other people I'd pick before him, but I'm not against it.
No.
Sure, he might do a great job. I don't know yet. If he does a great job,
We're
hats off
deflecting
to him.
away from the
point.
The point.
But still.
And
my answer is fuck it. I'm gonna say he has another PGA Tour win before he goes tools down.
but how long is that?
I
Like
within-
the candle's burning at both ends. How long until?
How old is he now? 40. Is he 50 yet? No, I think he was born in 76. I think he's 48.
Yeah,
Is he 48?
48.
Yeah, 48.
75 he was born. He turns.
I think before
he turns 49 December 30 this year.
he's still strong. He's still as fit as he probably can be. He's still got a bit of healing to do. But don't forget, Mickelson won a PGA at 52 years old. So I think
Yeah.
before Tiger's 55,
But Mickelson didn't crash his car into a cliff.
it doesn't matter. There's
Yeah, it
healing.
does.
There's healing.
Yeah.
Like
After seeing that, it's a different story.
it's a different ball game, but it's also Tiger fucking Woods.
Yeah.
Before he's 55,
Just
I
give
think
me a
he has
number
another one.
before he's 55. So you reckon he's got another 7 years in him?
Yeah, after I'm gonna call it after he's 55, Champions Tour with a cart or something. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm hopeful. I really want to see him go. Maybe he's holding off until he does win one, and then he goes, "That's it. I'm top of the table. 83 over and out. I'm gone."
Cool. Yeah. I'd love to
Imagine
see
that.
it. Love to see it.
He, like the whole fight and grind, and now he's top of the table. See ya.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
It'd be sick.
Like that's what. Right. I'm going to change the. We usually do open recaps and then hold our questions.
For the main episode.
For the
But
main
you've got a questions from the second card.
I've just got one for this specific episode.
Hit it.
Where is she? There it is. Shout out to my boss Luke. He came up with this question and he actually texted me to it going, "Oi, I've got a GJ question for you."
Yep.
Right.
Hello.
Which year so far would you prefer? So from Jan through to July, would you rather Xander's run of this past 7 months, so the 2 major wins, his unbelievable record on tour at the moment with all his top 10s and his near misses and the unbelievable rise from going his last 43 major starts had 0 wins and his last 3s had 2 wins? Or Scotty's 7-month run of a Masters, 6 wins on tour, which include the Players, Jack's event, and Arnie's event. Which year would you prefer?
It's a tough decision,
It's hard, isn't it?
but I'm. If it
It's weird, isn't
if
it?
it was my career, I'd want more majors.
Okay.
So I'd go Xander's
Yep.
specifically because he won the Open.
Yep.
It's hard to pick out of the Open and the Masters because that's effectively what you're doing.
Of course. It's weird. It's a good
hard
one, isn't it?
Because that's a great resume that Scotty's put up this year.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But there's two different sides to it.
For me, it's like 51% to 49%. It's that close.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
can't really split it.
Yeah. If you just had to. It doesn't even have to be how your heart fully feels, but you just got to pick one. Just pick one.
Oh, now I'm going to change my mind. Nah, because if I could win the Open in that fashion, I'd go Xander.
You go Xanders?
Yeah.
So I'm going I'm the same, 51-49.
Yeah.
I'm going Scotties just because
He won the Players.
because because the green jacket, like that is everyone's dream. It's
the pinnacle of the sport.
To put on that green jacket and sit in butlers and talk to previous champions, and that's just the dream of everything, right? And plus the win streak he had and all that, and being top of the world. But that doesn't mean the level of respect I have for Xander's 7 months into this year so far, and going from 0 major wins in 40 starts to 2 in 3. Like, how's that for sheer persistence and just grit and grind and the development of the guy?
Do you know how old Xander Schauffele is?
I don't know.
He's 30.
Is he 30?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You wouldn't think of it.
He's still
I
got
thought
heaps to go.
Still got heaps to go.
Yeah, he's still got. Anyway,
Very good.
So that's that question. Shout out to Luke for that coming
That's a
up
good
with
one.
that. So I didn't have to think of it.
That's a good one, Luke. I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
I think it's a great place to leave it.
Yep.
Joel, keep
Let's
it nice and quick.
Let's tidy that up.
Congratulations to Xander Schauffele. If you're listening, come and join us for a chat.
If you're listening, Scotty Scheffler as well. If you want to talk about your year,
Yeah, why not?
just give us a call.
It's an open invite. Anyone wants to come, if you just come down. No dramas. Send us a message. Hit us up. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed this bonus episode. We're going to try and get it to you as soon as possible.
Yep.
And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the Open.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to all our socials. Keep an eye out for the main episode coming out on Friday. And we will see you very, very soon. Hit it well.
Peace.
Cheers.